what are the limits we should be putting on scientific research into human genetic enhancement? And there's a second question here. Do you think that there should be an international moratorium on editing germline cells?
I think that there is de facto an international moratorium on editing germline cells.
Do you think there should be?
Yeah, I understand.
The word should. You got to take a stand.
Well, I think that there should be. I mean, I was at this conference at the National Academy of Sciences in early December. It drew 400 scientists from around the world on CRISPR, and a major topic of discussion. And these were a lot of distinguished scientists, including some of the CRISPR originators. Major topic of discussion was precisely human germline editing. Every single person, or I won't say every, almost every single person there said it should not be done now. Why is that? Because nobody knows any way to make it, ensure that it's safe now, okay? I would say that, so there ought to be an international moratorium on the technology so long as it is not demonstrated to be unsafe, okay? At the same time, I would keep the door open to the possibility of human germline editing should the time come when it can be done safely and efficaciously. Now, why do I say that? Well, it's not because I'm a barn-burning eugenicist here. It's because it seems to me that you can't know really ahead of time what benefits might come from new technologies or how you need to regulate them. Without knowing the technology, you can't regulate it effectively. For example, there was a lot of talk in the 1930s that sooner or later physicists would learn how to release nuclear energy, the energy locked in the atom. And with it, they could drive steamships across the Atlantic with the energy in a cup of water, or they could destroy cities and things like that. If you had tried to regulate nuclear technology, I mean the release of nuclear energy in the 1930s, you would have missed everything that enables people to extract the energy from the atom. You wouldn't have known about fission, you wouldn't have known about the essential requirement of having fissionable natural fuels such as uranium, etc. So you would have made a whole bunch of regulations that would have been completely irrelevant come the discovery of fission in the end of 1938. It seems to me not so dramatically similar, but somewhat similar, that to try to see ahead as to what the technologies will be, what the knowledge will be, what benefits might accrue from using human germline editing and bar them categorically without knowing them, it seems to be a mistake.
Do you think that there's an issue with the heredity involved? So like if we're trying to decide, here's this technology, is it safe? Okay? You know, if we're talking about sort of gene therapy to fix someone's hemophilia, we're just saying like, if we give this gene therapy to this one person, is it like on average safe? Or can we or will we accept the potential side effects on the individuals who we give it to?
Yeah, or are they any worse than just treating the hemophiliac as we treat them now?
Right. But it's like, obviously, like, you know, the drug sort of, or the treatment ends with the patient. And here with germline engineering, it's like the treatment potentially just goes on forever, because you have to think about, well, what are the potential side effects in their descendants? And I mean, does the FDA even know how to think about that? Well,
maybe not. But that you never know until you try it. You try it in mice, for example. I mean, when you in the testing of drugs, I mean, the testing of this kind of technology for safety and efficacy will be done in exactly the way that new drugs are tested. They're tested in laboratory animals, mice being our closest cousins in this regard, or rats. They will have to see. They'll have to have long-range clinical analyses of what happens if you genetically engineer a mouse so that it no longer has the gene for Huntington's or no longer has an oncogene.
All right.
Okay, so your turn. Is a cancer moonshot possible? What can we learn from past government moonshots? Not sure what CRISPR, that has to do with CRISPR, but I'm perfectly happy to talk about that.
Right. So the cancer moonshot is